Many years ago, an ordinary European girl named Inge Eberhard fell in love with an Asian man and married him, not knowing he was actually a prince. She moved with him to a remote kingdom and lived in a palace with dozens of servants. At first, everything felt like a real fairy tale, but the fairy tale soon turned into a nightmare. So why did Inge eventually have to flee the country with her daughters? What really happened to the prince she loved? And where are Inge and their daughters today? Watch the full video to find out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started. The story of Inge Eberhard is so remarkable that it was later turned into a film so powerful and controversial that it was immediately banned in Burma and Thailand. But no ban could stop it. Pirated copies spread across the region, and people watched it in secret. And today, we are going to tell the full story. Inge was born in 1932 in a small region in southern Austria. After World War II, life was difficult, and she eventually decided to continue her studies in the United States. In 1951, she won one of the first Austrian Fulbright scholarships and enrolled at a women's college in Colorado. One evening, at a party for international students, Inge met a man who immediately caught her attention. His name was Sao Kia Seng. He was a mining engineering student from Burma, now known as Myanmar. He was quiet, thoughtful, and deeply kind. There was something very special about him, she later recalled. He was very kind and easy to talk to, but he also had a certain bearing, a regal presence. The two quickly fell in love. In February 1952, Sao invited Inge to dinner at an Italian restaurant, and during that dinner, he proposed to her with a ruby and diamond ring. Inge accepted immediately, as she was already deeply in love with him. However, their relationship was not accepted by everyone. At the time, interracial relationships were often criticized, and people made racist comments toward Inge for dating an Asian man. Still, she ignored the negativity because her feelings for Sao were stronger than the fear of judgment. In 1953, they got married at the home of a friend in Colorado. Inge was 21 years old and ready to follow her husband back to his home country, a place she had never been before. They boarded a ship and sailed to Rangoon, the capital of Burma. When they arrived at the dock, Inge was completely unprepared for what she saw. Hundreds of people were waiting for them. Colorful banners, music played on homemade instruments, and huge bouquets of flowers. A crowd stretched as far as she could see, all gathered for the arriving ship. At first, Inge assumed a celebrity must be on board, but then Sao finally revealed the truth. He was actually the crown prince of the Shan state of Sipa. To his people, he was considered almost sacred, the great lord of the sky. Sao explained that he had hidden his royal identity because he wanted to be sure Inge loved him for who he truly was, not for his title or wealth. For Inge, the revelation was a complete shock. Overnight, she had gone from being an ordinary Austrian student to the future queen of an Asian royal state. The couple settled in a two-story palace, surrounded by dozens of servants who managed every aspect of royal life. According to royal tradition, Inge was given the name Thusandi, chosen by an astrologer. Inge fell in love with her new land just as quickly as she had fallen in love with her husband. She learned to speak both Shan and Burmese, adopted local dress and customs, and took part in ceremonies. She visited villages and listened to the people. Before long, the once wary population of Sipa had completely forgotten that their princess was an outsider. She had become one of them. The couple had two daughters, Mayari, born in 1956, and Kanari, born 3 years later. Inge and Sao worked tirelessly to improve life in their kingdom. Sao introduced new farming techniques, encouraged the exploration of mineral and gem deposits to bring wealth to his people, and fought against corruption. He believed deeply in democracy and also supported women's rights. When Inge worried about not having a son, Sao reassured her that times were changing and that women should also be allowed to inherit power. This was very unusual for that era. After his father's death, Sao became king, and Inge became queen consort, supporting her husband in his duties. She helped establish birthing clinics, taught villagers about nutrition, and founded a trilingual school. Together, they were considered one of the most popular royal couples in Southeast Asia. Their life in Sepah seemed almost perfect, and for a time, it truly resembled a fairy tale. But it did not last long. In 1962, the Burmese army staged a coup under the leadership of General Ne Win. Sao Kya Seng was arrested and imprisoned. Inge and her daughters were placed under house arrest. For 2 years, she searched everywhere for news of her husband, but found no trace of him. As Burma descended into dictatorship, Inge realized that she and her daughters were no longer safe. With the help of the Austrian ambassador, she and her 2 daughters made a daring escape from Burma. The military confiscated all valuable items from their luggage, even her engagement ring. After living as a queen for nearly a decade, she left the country with almost nothing. For a time, Inge lived with her parents in Austria. However, she later decided to move because her daughters were mocked by other children. She then relocated to Colorado, the place where she had first met Sao, and began working as a German teacher at an American high school. In 1968, she remarried a man named Howard Tad Sargent. But she never forgot Sao. She continued searching for the truth and wrote for decades to the Burmese military government, asking what had happened to her husband. She never received a response. In 1994, encouraged by her husband Ted, she wrote her memoir, Twilight Over Burma, My Life as a Shan Princess. Every cent of profit from the book was donated to Burmese refugees living in the border areas of neighboring countries. Before I wrote the book, I used to have nightmares of running with my 2 little girls while bullets flew past us. But since finishing the book, the nightmares have ended, Inge later recalled. In 2015, the memoir was adapted into a film, also called Twilight Over Burma. The film was banned in both Burma and Thailand. Inge and her husband also founded a non-profit organization called Burma Lifeline, which provided food, water, and medical care to people fleeing the military regime. In 2000, she received the International Human Rights Award for her continued support of ethnic minorities. As for her daughters, both eventually built successful lives in the United States. Her eldest daughter, Mayari, earned a Ph.D. in Industrial and Organizational Psychology from the Illinois Institute of Technology. She now works with organizations around the world, specializing in leadership assessment, selection, and development. Her younger daughter, Kanari, later became a psychotherapist and is now retired. For decades, the fate of Sao Kya Seng remained a mystery, but according to later accounts, the prince was believed to have died shortly after his arrest during the military coup. His body was never returned to the family. Sadly, in 2023, Inge passed away at the age of 90. But to many people, she was never simply a foreign woman who married a prince. She remained the beloved Shan princess who never abandoned the people she once considered her own. Even today, many elderly Shan people still remember the royal couple with great affection and keep photographs of them as symbols of a lost era. Do you think the story of Inge and Sao deserves to be known around the world? Share your thoughts in the comments. And that's it. If you enjoyed the video and want more like it, be sure to leave a thumbs up below in appreciation. And if you haven't already, you really want to subscribe to my channel and tick the bell icon so you get notified as I upload a new video every week. See you in the next video.